Good morning, everybody, all the ladies and Celebrate You platform. I am Barbara Beckley, one of the co-founders of Celebrate You, and this is Purpose, Passion, and Drive Conversation Live with yours truly. I always get this big smile on my face every time I come on the first and third in the month, and we are in March. And guess what March represents? Yeah, well, okay, if I look at it on a selfish tip real quick, it represents that my birthday's in 3 more weeks. So to me in my mind, okay, that kind of popped up. But no, that's good. But what March represents is basically Women's History Month. Can you believe it? It's 2021, and I just look back at all the women, not just looking back, but looking in the present, what's going on right now. History was created a few weeks ago. Was in January. We have our first, Black and Asian vice president. And, it seems like after that, I don't know about you ladies, but I just been seeing a snowball effect. Even when they did the inauguration, when they swore the president and the vice president of the United States in. Did you notice that every person that was on that podium almost was a woman? Did you notice that? I was just like doing a little happy dance. So we have let's take that in. We're always talking about celebrating you, celebrating life, embracing, loving each other. Let's love on that as women. That is just phenomenal that we're just seeing this change. And I'm just so glad that in my time and in our time that we're able to see that change. It's just, because, I always thought in my mind that, well, maybe by the time they get to recognizing us a little bit more, that we wouldn't, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. But it's nice to say that I am. Isn't it nice that we can all just see this and say, we're all taking a part of this. So let's just celebrate. Just take that time out. Just take that time this month. And not only, I know this month, we're really resonating on, women's history, but even beyond that, everyone in this group, you have your own history. You do. You have your own mark in this world. You are epic. And that's why I'm always talking about your PPD, your purpose, your passion, and your drive, because each and every one of you, and I will say this until God takes me home, that you have that genius, that special gift, that little secret sauce I always say sometimes in you that's different than anyone else, because and to make you shine, but then you help others people shine. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna stress that, because that's what it's really all about. That's why I say that is your foundation. That is something for you to push forward when all this stuff is going crazy in life. You have to look at yourself and say, you know what? I had to be centered. I had to be focused. I have to concentrate on what I need to be doing. I know that I'm a tool in this earth. The purpose, you are a tool in this earth to move things forward, to move things and get results in any area that you're working in. So never think that you were just put here just because you're not. You're put here for a purpose. And that passion behind it pushes it. And the drive, I always call the drive, I talked a little bit about that before, is your stories. Your stories are important. Today, I want to really just swoop into talking about how important it is to listen, to listen, to, in fact, active listening. I always say that it's nice to put a goal there, it's nice to write it down, but then after that, you have to move, you got to put some action to it. Well, same goes when you're communicating and you are active listening with someone. I have a quote. I want to read this quote. Then I want to go into more detail regarding active listening, not just listening to each other, but listening to your inner self, your inner talk in with you. Okay, so I want to get into that because that helps, that PPD, that helps you remember things. So listening is an art that requires attention over talent, spirit over ego, others over yourself. And I always like to read it again because sometimes you hear it the first time, but then the second time you let it sink in just a little bit more. Listening is an art that requires attention, attention over talent, over talent, spirit over ego. Say that again, ego. Any egos in the house? Let's get the egos out. Others. Now this is where you have to think. Okay, it's not about Barbara. It's not about anybody. It's not about you. You others over self. So when you're listening, it is an art. Listening, you have to establish that. And always, I always tell people, always work on. You know how I always take the baby steps in life. Well, I'm over my 50. I'm over 50 right now. And I'm still learning how to pay attention and listen. I'm going to be vulnerable with this. And I think maybe we all are in different areas. I always can tell, just to give you an example of this, we all been, and raise your hand, who has not been on a Zoom call or a Zoom meeting or a Zoom event or a summit or whatever they call it, who has not been on one? Because if you have not been on one, then we need to talk, because I know somewhere down the line you have, especially within this past year, because we are virtual, going steady on that. And I've noticed that when I'm on a Zoom call, I come on, whatever it is, if it's a meeting, for your job, if it's a meeting, that you're getting together for a project, if it's an event, if it's a conference, whatever it is, I tend now to really look at all the little squares, as we call the Brady Bunch, right? The squares when I'm watching, because first I pay attention to the person that's talking. I do pay attention, but then sometimes with attention spans, and we all know this, things get to wandering. You get to wandering here. 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 You get to wandering and say, maybe I need to, what was my grocery list again? Those are wandering moments. You know that. Those are those moments. And it's becoming habit forming, I'm noticing with people. Just take this next time you go on a Zoom call, just look around those boxes and see what people are doing when the speaker, who's ever speaking at that time, is giving information. Either they're persuading you, or they're informing you of something. They're letting you know. I mean, you're there for a reason. One thing that I don't like is okay, this is just a tip on the side. Don't be having meetings and stuff and there's no purpose to it. People do not want to sit in a 30-hour whatever meeting and you are not giving any value to it. So that's going to automatically get somebody to be doing it. Not saying it's right for them to start, floating around in their mind and everything, but make sure that, you're bringing value and purpose. And I have seen a lot of meetings and events that I've been in that they are power packed speakers and leaders that's been speaking, and people tend to just space out in different areas. And then the add insult to injury, they take their video and they put their video off. So you don't know what a person's doing after that. They can be doing dishes, they can be talking on another conversation, they could be sleeping, they could be watching TV, whatever the case may be. And then I was thinking about that and I said, well, first of all, I have to work on me first. I said, let me start on me. I'm noticing this on everybody else. I said, okay, what is Barbara doing? Let me look in the mirror, see what I'm doing. Am I active listening? Am I paying attention to things that are going on around me? Am I paying attention to what's going on within that Zoom call? Am I giving the person respect to hear what they have to say? Am I respecting their PPD? Am I respecting their purpose, passion, and drive in their life? They are not just sitting there talking just to be talking. They are sitting there giving something to you. So the biggest thing we can do is listen. This can wait. If you know you have a meeting or whatever's going on in the event at a certain time, if it's an hour, 2 hours, and you plan that on your calendar, then this needs to go. Unless it's like a diehard emergency going on in your life. This needs to go. This needs to go to the side, cut it off, turn it down, whatever. That's the respect of active listening. That's the first step. The second step is to really write down notes, take notes, look at what a person's doing. When you're putting aside, just like you said, your time is valuable, well, the other person's time is valuable too, because they're taking the time out to give you some information that hopefully that you're supposed to be using to move you forward or propel you to move you forward in your life, in your purpose, passion, and drive. So first, let's respect the others that are doing what they, and I'm saying this when I'm talking like this, I am talking directly to me too. It's not just, I'm just telling you to do. I have done it. That's why I had to take a big look in the mirror at myself and say, what am I doing when I'm on those calls? What am I doing when I'm in those events? Am I taking a hold of what they're saying? Or am I playing games on the phone? Or am I, thinking about, okay, when they get done talking, have you been that route when you have a conversation with somebody and you can just tell in their eyes and you can tell in their whole body language that they're like, okay, now I can say what I got to say. Okay, that was good. Da-da-da. And, I always ask somebody, I get people on this too. I said, wait, before you say what you have to say, did you remember anything or any concept or just one word that I said a minute ago? And they're like, yeah, you were talking about, you were inspired by something. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. You're guessing, you're reaching, you're trying to reach. I'd rather for you to sit there and say, you know what, Barbara, you're right. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize for that. But then to sit there and start to reach for things that you thought you heard and you didn't hear because you were not paying attention. You were not active listening to that person. So if you want somebody to active listen with you, you have to give it the same. Now, I know I've been giving examples of individuals and, being on Zoom and stuff because I've been seeing that a lot, that a lot of people, and a lot of people might say, well, I was taking notes on my phone, of the conversation. But, phones can get distracted, notifications come up. It's not just, there's a notepad on your phone. I get it. We all have one. But really just say to yourself, am I really, really listening to that person? Am I really respecting that person's PPD? Because I always say that's your foundation. You keep it. That's your focal point. So we want to respect each other in that area. Now, I just want to add to this. I mentioned too that listening into your inner self, listening to your inner self. Are you blocking that? Are you focused on what you're thinking inside of you? Are you understanding that what is your purpose? Are you understanding? Do you understand the gifts that you have? I always talking about those gifts and talents you have. Do you truly understand that? Sometimes you have to have that talk, that self-talk with yourself and go in a nice, maybe closed out or silent room, I always say. Some people told me that they can think of things and be real calm and collected when there's like maybe a lot of noise going on. It depends. It depends on how you really settle yourself in order to really get your thoughts together. Some people need to have quiet, some people don't. But that's what you have to make that decision. The biggest thing that I want to bring home to this is that I want to make sure that you're really listening to you, really truly listening of what you have inside of you. I can say it all the time. I always tell people, I can tell you all the time, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're tremendous, you do well in this area. I see you, just soar in this particular thing that you do. You're good at organizing, you're good at marketing, you're good. I can just say all these different things. And in the back of your mind, some people back keep saying, I am? Where did she get that from? I don't see that. I don't know what she's talking about. Barbara, what? And that's why you had to sit back and say, okay, yeah, I know I have a genius. I know that there's something there. What is it? What is it? We all have something. And then when you find that out, you have to love and like what you do. Now I know every day I have a 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday. Do I respect it? Yes. Do I love it? I appreciate it because it's helping me move forward, propel. To me, it's like my investment plan that, it's part of what I invested in, what I'm doing regarding my business, which is the Diamond Factor LLC. Do I respect it? I've been in it for a while, but it was not my true purpose. I found out. And it took a while. This didn't just when I popped up and got born and then 2 or 3 or 4 years old, I was like, okay, I know my purpose. It's the Diamond Factor. Here I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to talk to people and help women and on a mission to give them exposure. All that wasn't coming out then. The only thing that was coming out when I was 3, 4, 5 was wanting food, wanting my mother, holding on to her on her leg, and scared to even talk to anybody. And then when I got a little bit older, then it got into the okay, now I'm gonna be. This is where the Diamond Factor started with getting bullied when I was at the age from 6 to 8. So then everything else has started going up that road. But again, that was nurturing. That was moving me towards that purpose. If I didn't listen, if I wasn't paying attention through all that craziness, through all that if I really wasn't listening within myself to tell myself, go left instead of right, or go right instead of left, either way you want to say it, go that opposite way, because that way is not going to be the right way. Or you don't want to fall into a victim zone. You need to be victorious because this is not about you. Just like it says with active listening, when it says you got to put your ego to the side, you got to look at others. You can't be selfish. You have to look at others. All that time when I was growing up and going through different phases, I had to look at, okay, this is bigger than Barbara, much bigger than her. What I have inside of me is going to hopefully help somebody else move to that next level. But if I didn't listen, to my inner self and stop listening to all those little gremlins, as we always call it, then that would be a problem. It would take a longer process. So that's why I wanted to bring home today that active listening is an art. It takes time. And it really takes time when you really got to dig deep to listen to what your heart and your soul is saying to you. Now, if it's saying something like, you're not worthy, you don't have value, you're not going to go anywhere, don't listen to that. I'm going to tell you that right now. That is like a do not, like a danger zone, like bling, 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 red light, stop. That is not what you should be listening to in yourself. You should be listening to, I am a conqueror. I am special. I can move forward. I do have a gift in me. I do have a passion to help myself, to help others. That's what it's all about. And this month for Women's History, step back, do some research, look at the women around us. Look at the women around us that is giving us those examples. Giving those as examples of leadership. They're empowering. They empowered people. Who are you empowering right now? Who are you What are you taking the next step? Are you listening to others that need empowerment? There's so many of our young people, our young ladies right now that need us as older ladies to help empower them to move forward. It doesn't stop right here. It doesn't stop here. Okay, we have a vice president in the office as a woman. It doesn't stop there. She's vice. Remember, she's vice. She's not president yet. We got to get to that. It doesn't stop. What you're doing in your life, it doesn't stop. You don't stop at one level. You keep going beyond levels. But you have to have that inner voice that you're listening to that's telling you, okay, you are the one. You can do this. Your purpose and passion in your life means so much. It's enriched in you, and it's going to be enriched in others. I was talking the other day, and I was talking about how most of us are that lantern in the cave. So think of a cave as real dark and gloomy and maybe bats and stuff. Ugh. Now that I think about it. But then you have a person in there, maybe you have people in there, and they're like, we can't see. It's dark. It's gloomy. And then someone has a lantern, a light to lead them out of that cave. That's what your PPD does. It leads you out of the darkness so you know who you are, what you're about, what your genius is. And then when you find that, then you're leading others so they understand that they have hope, that they have a PPD, that they have a purpose and passion and drive. It's all about listening, all about listening your inner self. So please take the time this month. I'll be back on the third, the third Monday of this month, but I want you to take out time right now to listen to others, respect others, what they say, what they're doing. They're just not doing just to be doing it. I always tell people, don't do things just to be doing something. Do it because it's something that's going to help and guide and support and encourage. That's what we do in life. So Women's History Month, every day I told myself, I said, I'm putting it down, and every day I'm going to look up women that has been doing remarkable things, had done remarkable things and doing remarkable things and continue to do remarkable things, because that should empower us to say our PPD is so important that we have to keep moving in that area. Listen to that inner self. Listen to others. It's so important, especially now. It is so important. So with that, purpose, passion, and drive conversation live with Barbara Beckley. Again, I am so glad to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful Celebrate You group and the other groups that are out there that I talk to all the time. I will be back on the next third Monday of this month. And remember, as we always say under Celebrate You, love yourself, embrace yourself. But whatever you do, celebrate you. PPD, remember, it's important.